Assalamu alaikum and welcome to my channel Make Studies Easy. So today we'll be studying a topic of Pakistan Studies P1, which is War of Independence 1857. So if we talk about the introduction, so in 1852 Lord Dalhousie extended British control even further by applying the doctrine of lapse. This meant that when a ruler died without a natural heir, the British would occupy his lands. So soon Satara, Oudh, Nagpur, and Jhansi fell into the hands of British. In 1857, the British faced a serious challenge to their control of India. In that year, there were a series of uprisings of states against the British rule, which are known as the War of Independence. It is also given names as Indian Rebellion, Indian Mutiny, as well as Indian Revolt. Now, if we talk about the causes of the war, so there were four or maybe five kinds of reasons for the cause of the war. Firstly, political, economic, military, social, and religious reasons. If we talk about the political reasons, so as the British extended their control, the local leaders saw their authority decline. The use of doctrine of lapse was unpopular. The seizure of Oudh in 1856 convinced many local rulers that British were simply land grabbers. The, the mistreatment of the Mughal emperor was another cause of unrest. Dalhousie's decision to move royal family from Red Fort to Delhi was seen as a sign of disrespect. If we talk about religious and social reasons, so as the British political control grew, the British considered it their duty to spread their superior culture. They treated Indians as an inferior race, and British societies regarded themselves as small oases of civilization in an uncivilized world. Many Indians feared that Islam, Hinduism, and Sikhism were under threat from British rule. The British always denied this, but in fact, Christian missionaries came to convert local population and set up schools. Economic reasons. The British made substantial profits from their trading in goods such as textiles. The British imposed high taxation. Peasants and small landowners found it very difficult to pay these taxes and resentment grew. Some tax collectors were corrupt and kept some of the tax money for themselves. The British also kept the salaries of sepoys, which caused more resentment. If we talk about the military reasons, so most of the soldiers in the East India Company's army were Indian. The sepoys and the sowars were exclusively Indian, but the officer class was almost British, which caused extreme resentment. Muslim and Hindu sepoys were forced to use the greased cartridges, but they refused. This caused much disturbance and the war broke. Now, what's this greased cartridge and all? Let me explain you. In January 1857, the British announced that they were introducing a new rifle with the paper cartridge covered in grease to keep the powder dry. Before the cartridge could be loaded, the end had to be bitten off. However, it was rumored that the grease on the cartridge was made from the fat of both cows and pigs. Now, this was something not acceptable for both Muslims and Hindus because pig fat was forbidden for Muslims and the cow was a sacred animal in the eyes of the Hindus. However, this was not the only reason. There were many other reasons as well. Now, moving on. If we talk about the events, so I've told you the 1857 event of January and about the grease cartridges. Now, if we move on, in March, a sepoy named Mangal Pandey disobeyed his British officers and was executed. On 6th May 1857, 85 out of 90 Indian soldiers at Meerut refused to buy the grease cartridges with their teeth. These 85 soldiers were court-martialed and imprisoned for 10 years. On 10th May 1857, the Indian soldiers at Meerut broke into open revolt. They released their companions and murdered a few European officers. On the night of 10th May, the mutineers marched to Delhi and reached there on 11th May. The war spread quickly and the British lost their control of Mathura, Kanpur, Jhansi, Allahabad, Delhi, and Lucknow. The British rule now only existed to what is now called as Uttar Pradesh. At Kanpur, the struggle for independence was led by Nana Sahib. A number of British fell into his hands and he showed great kindness to them. But when he heard about inhuman attitude of British towards Indians, he became very furious and killed all the British. General Havelock captured Kanpur after defeating Nana Sahib in a hotly contested battle on 17th June 1857. Later, Nana Sahib, with the help of Tatya Topi, recaptured Kanpur in November 1857, but not for a long time, and British defeated them once again in a fierce war from December 1 to 6, 1857. Nana Sahib fled towards Nepal, where he probably died.